Hi, thanks again for tuning in to Sim's Workshop. Hope everyone's having a great day today. So today I have a really good review actually. So we're going to be talking about a song of Wraiths and Ruin by Roseanne A. This is a novel steeped in West African folklore and mythology. What I really like about this novel, and here, let me just turn this, or maybe I should, okay. I feel like I was too off-center. I don't mind being off-center, but you know, too off-center. Now, back on topic. What I really love about this novel, what I think is great about this novel is how Brown celebrates her culture. She is from, she is from this place. I feel like the audio is better if I put both mics on. You can call me silly all you want. But there is no but. I mean, I think it's great that she celebrates her culture in this novel. I thought it was a really compelling novel. I really loved the world building and the storytelling. I've seen a lot of educational programs about African culture and their way of storytelling, and putting in the beats with the storytelling. That resonates in this novel. You're gonna have to excuse me. My allergies super killing me today. Whenever they make, I don't know if you have allergies, but they kind of make your throat dry. You're constantly swallowing because you feel like your throat's dry. That's me right now. So, that's neither here nor there. I just want to apologize for my speech today. But, I think it's great how she celebrates her culture, because the way African storytelling is, it's very lyrical. You're very much listening to the story, but you're being submerged not just in the storytelling, but like the tempo of the story as well, the musicality of it. And I think that's really great about African culture, how storytelling is so central to their culture, to their narrative as a people, because it's how they pass down their legacy, and I find that very amazing. I've always kind of been fascinated with it, and I think this novel was great for that reason. It opens up, not quite that way, but it leads to that very quickly. It does follow, what's his name? Malik? Yep, Malik. Ha. See? I told you, let's get better. Write down the names. Malik. It follows Malik, he's with his older sister and his younger sister. And they have forged papers, they're trying to get into the great city of Ziran so they can save up money to get their family out of poverty, out of a very turbulent situation, with Ishran, which is where they're from. They're refugees, basically, and I think it's a powerful message as far as being a refugee goes. I think it says a lot about how refugees are looked at, how immigrants are looked at in a way, because that's what they are to the city. No one really considers Eshan, the place where they're from, as part of their country, so they look down at them a lot, which is why they have forged papers. They have forged papers, they have to change their names, they have to control their accent. It's kind of heartbreaking to read that. And then, you know, through all the madness, they're kind of, you know, Malik is set, especially since he is the focal point of half the story, because it does switch between two points of views. He is central to this storytelling. He loves storytelling. He wants to be a storyteller himself. He just has a lot of baggage, because he had this gift, and he has magic, basically, and a lot of people in his own little village didn't like it. You know, they didn't think it was real. They don't think magic is real or believe in his magic. So, you know, it led to a lot. You know, he has panic attacks. He has a lot of self-doubt. He really is self-deprecating. He doesn't really have a lot of courage to be himself. But he comes into himself. But we'll get more about that later. He finds safety in this storyteller. She's telling a story, you know, with his sister, and with his sisters, and his younger sister sort of makes a wish, and it kind of offsets everything. Nothing without my coffee. But it offsets a lot. But the way she's telling the story, it's engaging. You know, she engages her audience. You know, she's engaging the reader. And you can sort of hear the beat of the story, that lyricalness that I was talking about earlier. It's incredibly compelling. And the fact that this one thing offsets the entire story is amazing. You know, there is another instance when Malik has to perform, you know, because he gets picked for this, you know, seasonal contest to choose the next guardian of I don't want to butcher it, you gotta read that part, but he becomes a contestant. He has to get close to the princess. You know, he has to, I don't want to spoil things. Something happens with his younger sister. He has to save her, and in order to do that, he makes a bargain with a very dark entity, and so he has to kill a princess. He has to get close to her. So he enters this competition, right? And during this competition, there is one scene. It's such an amazing scene where he's telling a story, and you hear that tempo. You can feel the tempo of the storytelling. You understand this lyricalness. But what's most important about this one scene is how Malik is really coming into himself. You know, he is he's finding his courage to be himself. He's finding that confidence that he was lacking. You know, it's a very slow. That doesn't mean that this scene is he has confidence. No, it's still a continuing journey for him until the very end, to have this self-assuredness, this confidence to his character. He goes on this incredible journey to find comfort in his own skin. You know, I've said this before in previous reviews. I love it when a character finds comfort in their own skin, because I think a lot of us as readers, we like to nitpick at our flaws. You know, we do nitpick at our flaws, I think. It's just kind of our nature, and I think we can be as confident as we want, but we always have this sort of unsettledness to us, I think. Or maybe it's just me. You know, I like to think I'm super confident, but I do find discomfort in some of my flaws from time to time. I think that's a very human characteristic. And so I think it resonates strongly with me as a reader whenever I find characters finding comfort in their flaws. But I think it says something to other readers as well, you know, that you should find comfort in your flaws, you know, like like Princess Entrapta says in She-Ra, your imperfections make you beautiful. I think that resonates strongly here. It's Malik's imperfections that make him personable, that make him resonate with the reader, and I really loved it. I really enjoyed it. As far as the storytelling goes, I thought it was really captivating to read his journey, and to follow his storytelling, his narrative, to feel this tempo breathe life into the story as it progresses. And I think the same can be said for the princess as well, because she also has some of her own issues. You know, she's still reeling from the death of her father and her sister years later, because her sister was supposed to be queen, the next queen. She never wanted this. All she wants is to escape and see the world, you know. But she really comes into herself as well throughout the story, because you have this council that they don't really think highly of her. You know, she hasn't really done a lot. She still lets herself get lost in her grief a lot, and it doesn't really highlight her best qualities. But she comes into herself. She becomes more self-assured. She becomes more thoughtful. She becomes a better person by the end of the novel. And much like with Malik, she finds strength in herself. You know, she finds this willingness to find herself in her grief, to not let herself drown in her grief anymore, to be better, to make peace with the past. You know, she goes on this journey, you know, alongside Malik. You know, they're kind of two different journeys, but I think the end result is the same for both of them, that they become stronger, they become more self-assured, they become more confident in who they are, you know, comfortable in their skin. And I really love that about their characterizations. Even though, you know, I will admit, sometimes Malik's, actually both of them, but I think for Malik even more, sometimes their self-deprecation, it kind of annoyed me sometimes, because it's just like, no, I want to yell at them and be like, no, you're not stupid, you know, you are smart, you are capable of this, stop putting yourself down. I think that's just a personal pet peeve of mine, though, because I hate when people put themselves down, you know. So when I keep reading these characters putting themselves down or letting themselves be put down, I want to yell at them and be like, no, you stand up for yourself right now, mister. You are not as weak as you think you are. So that's me in my head when I'm reading these stories. And when I read this story, it's just like, no, Malik, come on. You're not stupid. You're not worthless. You are worth something. You know, that's me in my head repeatedly when I was reading this novel, you know, right into that moment where he starts to become more self-confident and more self-assured. So I think that's just, once again, I think that's just a pet peeve of mine, self-deprecation. I think I've said this before in other reviews. When I read this in stories, I just kind of instantly get somewhat annoyed, and it really just impacts my, it does impact how I read the story, or how I ultimately feel about the story. But, you know, I have to applaud Brown for her writing. It's it's so engaging. She has such respect for her culture, and you can see it in the story. You can see it in the way she evolves the story, in the way she captivates the reader, in the way she engages with the storytelling, you know, with the narrative, with developing these characters, with building this world. You know, there's so much beautiful detail in it, making it such a vibrant read. You know, it's at times chaotic, but it doesn't lose the reader because the detail is there. The detail is there to ground the reader, to make sure that we don't get lost in the chaos surrounding these characters. And I loved it for that reason, because I hate when it's just like so many things are happening all at once and you're like, what's going on, and you have to like reread parts. I didn't have to do that with this novel. I was able to follow it. I like being able to follow a story. You know, the more the tension rises, I think the faster I tend to read, because I'm like, oh my god, 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 you know? Like, I need to know what's gonna happen next. So I guess it's just easy for me to kind of get lost in a story. But I don't mean lost as in I don't know what's going on, like lost as in I'm in the story. So it's great when there's a lot of detail in there to allow me to get lost in a story and forget the real world, versus getting lost while I'm reading it, like I don't know what's happening, kind of lost, you know. Detail is important. Her language usage is important. The way she celebrates her culture is important, and it really resonates with the reader. You know, it creates this really strong, powerful story with engaging characters. It has so many interesting plot twists as well. She develops the history of this place very perfectly. You know, she takes the steps to sort of unveil elements of it, you know, slowly, and it kind of catches you off guard, because you're like, what? You didn't see that coming. And I like that. I like unpredictability in a story. I can't stand it when things are predictable. But here, I didn't find anything predictable. I thought it was a really good story. I thought it was incredibly engaging. I thought it was incredibly thought-provoking. I enjoyed it immensely. So, A Song of Wraiths and Ruin by Roseanne A. Brown. Please remember to support the author. You can purchase the book on bookshop.org. A percentage of the proceeds do go to local booksellers. So by buying it there, not only are you supporting the author, you are supporting bookstores and booksellers. If money is too tight, which I know for a lot of us it is, due to COVID-19, I know a lot of us are probably still reeling. Some of us may still not have jobs. Some of us may be taking that to part-time, or, you know, hours are just cut. So I know money is tight right now, and if money is tight, support your local library. You know, check out the book from the local library. Libraries are a great resource for everyone of any age, because it's such a wonderful world of books to give to the community, to encourage them to read. So, once again, bookshop.org to support the author and booksellers. The link to purchase the book there will be in the description below. And support your local libraries if money's too tight. And please support me. Please like this video if you like it, and please subscribe to my channel if you want to see more from me. I really hope you do. And please spread the word. You know, in the link below, you can find my Facebook page, my Twitter, Instagram, and Tumblr page. Follow me on all or just one of those, and please subscribe to this channel. I hope you all have a great rest of your day. And as always, happy reading.